Thank you for your invitation. Thank you, DSA. In France, the National Rally, that is a nationalist party, openly racist, is currently the largest caucus in the National Assembly. Its candidate, Marine Le Pen, went twice to the second round of the presidential elections in 2017 and in 2022. To sum up, this is a party that weighs a lot on French politics. But I need to say that the successive governments, both from the right and the left, bear a huge responsibility in this situation. Even huger when speaking of the current French president, Emmanuel Macron. The current French government, its policies, directly feed the far right, his party, the National Rally. Of course, this situation is not a French particularism. Macron is nothing else than a servant of the financial capital. His first reform of the pension system was written by BlackRock, the big American pension fund. The result can be easily summarized. There are now over 10 million poors in France, more than 16% of the country's population. At the same time, Macron is the incarnation of the subservience to the US policy, Biden's and now Trump's. He is selling weapons to Israel. So, in fact, he is supporting genocide in Gaza. When Trump and NATO ordered to increase the military budget in all European countries, Macron says, okay, we do that. These politics are more and more rejected by the French population. As a consequence, the government is more and more a minority and gets weaker and weaker. So he needs the support of far right, and so it gets more and more authoritarian and repressive. And it steers racist divisions, in particular against the peoples that were once colonized by French imperialism. Let's say it once more. This policy leads us to a cataclysm. We need to be clear. We cannot fight efficiently and we cannot win against them without mobilizing largest segments of the population, the workers, the working class, the youth, the people who live in popular neighborhoods, on an orientation of breaking up the capitalist system and its governments. Yes, we need to break with this system that leads to barbarism and destruction, to break with this system that leads to the genocide of the Palestinian people, that disseminates and causes wars all over the world. We cannot win against rising reaction by doing what the leaders of the French left have always done when they held power, particularly the Parti Socialist, which is a social democrat party. I mean, they went along with the system. They explained we cannot do differently. Unfortunately, this is also what the leaders of the big labor organizations do too often in my country. This politic of adaptation to the system of concession and capitulation always lead to demoralization and to defeat. We see that everywhere. So what do we need? We need to say money not for the war, the money for hospitals, the money for schools, the money for universities, the money for social care. We have to fight against racism. And to the racist division that the government tries to impose, we have to oppose equality, the equality of rights, unity of the population, of the working class and the youth. In the French Parliament, there are 71 MPs of La France Insoumise, and I say you, and I send you the greetings of my group, La France Insoumise. The system and its parties, even the traditional parties of the left, don't like us. In fact, they hate us, they insult us, they and sometimes they threaten us. But we go on fighting, demonstrating against genocide. We go on demanding, stop selling arms to Israel, break trade agreements with Israel, full support to the dockers who refuse to load weapons to Israel. And we go on fighting against the government and far right. Today in France, there is a huge rejection in the population, in the working class. This rejection is developing, and in this context, LFI, La France Insoumise, is growing up. So yes, we can be confident, and I'm sure we will succeed. To conclude, our biggest challenge today, and the most dangerous, I think, is that our governments are preparing war. They need it, and forces against their wars and against our war-mongering governments. As a German revolutionary, Karl Liebknecht, said in 1914, the enemy is in our own country. To help with that, we are committed with the many political activists and leaders worldwide in preparing a meeting against the war, against genocide. A first one in Paris on the 5th of October and another one a little later in London. How can DSA activists can help us? If you win, it would be a terrible help for us. And I invite you, if you can, to come to our meeting in Paris against war and against genocide. Thank you for all.